Cheers, everyone. Happy Friday.
Yes, here it is. So we've made it to yet another Friday, even for those of us that aren't really actually in Friday. It's a virtual Friday. It's a virtual Friday party. But it's like after this, I'm done with my day, so it might as well be a Friday. So all right, so hello everybody, welcome back, and just diving right in. So we are. I kind of get my pointers, but we're Developreneur, building better developers, and I am Rob Broadhead, one of the founders of Developreneur, also the founder of RB Consulting, where we help you solve those expensive technology mistakes before they happen. We help you find clarity and make sure that you can get rid of all that technology, that organizational drag that's slowing you down, so that when you put the rocket ship, that rocket engine on the back of your organization, it actually shoots forward and doesn't end up just like exploding like a rusty old skate or something like that. Good thing and bad thing. Good thing is for you guys, it's Friday. Good thing for us is I actually enjoy doing these Developreneur Challenge episodes. These are a lot of fun. I like doing the interviews. Those are great, but these are also awesome. Bad news is it's not actually Friday for me, but I guess there's a little good because I still got some crap I got to get done before Friday anyway, so it all works out. Sort of like this episode where we're going to dive in, but first I'm going to send it over to Michael to introduce himself.
Hey, everyone. My name's Michael Meloche. I'm one of the co-founders of Building Better Developers, also known as Developreneur. I'm also the founder of Envision QA, where we work with businesses to assess their systems, identify what's slowing them down, and guide them towards the right solutions. That way, instead of guessing or overbuilding, costing excess money, you really get what you need to help your business grow and get rid of those bottlenecks. I guess good thing, bad thing, weather. We're actually at the river this week. The weather, even though it's hot, the humidity's been low. It's been overcast. It's been very nice to be outside, enjoying it. Bad thing, I'm probably not going to see the river house again for the next few weeks after this next go live that's about to go out. So enjoying it now while I can.
Exactly. Sometimes you got to enjoy it while it lasts because it will disappear, but that makes it special. So just like you guys are so special. It is a Friday and we're going to dive right in. So this week, you can flip back if you haven't, flip back and take a look at what our episodes covered. But really it was about courses and being able to do reviews and things of that nature. And how do you, the key here that I found really interesting is like, how do you find signals within the noise? Because there's just this cacophony. And this honestly is not just an AI thing, although I think AI has made it worse. And I'm living this right now because we're actually, I'm working on a packet. I'm working on a small product kind of thing, a helper kind of thing that we can do for you guys. But the whole thing is, it's like there's a billion of these out here. So how do we position it? How do we let you know that and other people know that this is actually something that's useful and not just something that was thrown together? It's not some AI slop that was thrown together for in 5 minutes and has nothing behind it. And how do you find those people that want the real thing? And how do you swim through all of the advertisements and stuff like that? And computer assisted learning has been around, the Udemy's and all those guys that have been here for years are great. They're incredibly valuable. We've used them, I don't know, many times. We've been users, we've been creators, all of that kind of stuff. We know that ecosystem very well. And I think it's what they're doing is, as I say, he's doing the Lord's work, is he's trying to get out there and find a way to get a site that gives you useful reviews. And it's not just about the quality of the content, which what I like is the shift of what he's doing here is it's making sure it's like matching you. It's almost like the dating sites that are like, you like short people or tall people or thin people or fat people or, whatever all that kind of stuff is. It's really important to do this same kind of thing when you're dealing with a coach, a mentor, or any kind of learning kind of environment. We've learned this when we've done masterminds and done mentor classes, and when we've talked about coaches, we've talked about mentors and to them, and how it very much is it's like going to the store and putting on the right set of clothes to make sure that they fit properly, and you can't just do it online because sometimes you can get something that one size does not necessarily fit all. So I think this is a great overarching kind of theme that we had with the discussion this week. And it does bring us back to the whole AI exposing the cracks I think a little bit in this is that it's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there, and there's the review systems are, I guess we could say, broken because they don't inherently include trust, which goes back to Chirper that we talked about, many episodes back, where the whole idea was just be human. And we talked very much about, like, how do you trust that the thing on the other side is human and is not AI? And I'm going to trust right now that Michael is not AI, and he's going to have some useful thoughts and not just AI slop he's going to throw out at us.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, this was an interesting interview. Not our typical interviews, but this was interesting in and of itself because Amit he's trying to do something different. There's, like you said, there's a lot of companies out there that are essentially trying to figure out how to fix the review issue. You mentioned, AI has kind of exacerbated that, but even pre-AI, we had bots that were going out and like giving false reviews on products on Amazon. There's sites all over the world that people can just hire and, hey, go give me real reviews. And again, it's still, they're trying to fake the system, so to speak, to make sure that their products or their services are higher up on the list. This was interesting because, yes, he's going out and kind of scraping all these review sites, but what he's trying to do is he's trying to reduce the noise, like you said, filter out the pieces that make sense to go with the course to help you identify if this course is really for you, or if this instructor or mentor or coach, whoever it is that's teaching this course, is a fit for you. I think he's on the right track. I don't think he's quite there yet. It sounded like he had a lot of things that were still kind of like, his initial concept is to get all these out there and get it in front of people and get it working. There were some pieces, though, that sounded like he still hadn't quite flushed out yet that may be phase 2. But it's things that I've seen with banks that are doing this for like travel sites, destinations like VRBOs, things of that nature, hotels, trying to match the customer, so to speak, with their right destination. What are the places they want to go? And what is concerning about this approach still with AI is the hallucinations. You really got to make sure you have those guardrails in place. It sounded like he had started down that path, but he didn't really have enough governance or guardrails in place to ensure some of that wasn't quite there. But the concept in and of itself is wonderful. And I think if he's successful with this is going to be one of those products that's going to be very helpful to people like our listeners, people that are looking for courses and things to better themselves. But I still think this type of technology is still at its infancy with AI, because AI can really take it off the rails. Like a lot of the cracks that we talked about, like the governance, the guardrails, because AI typically will pull the most newest information. So unless you go screen scrape an entire site of reviews, you're only going to get like the top reviews. So you may only get all the bad reviews. Like maybe they had a bad course that just didn't work out, but they're still a good person. There's just a lot of things there that you could potentially still filter out and not quite get the experience that you want for your customers.
Yeah, this is a challenging one because it really does come down to reviewing the reviews almost, because there's going to be, and course reviews are, and mentors and coaches, I guess, are a really interesting one, because I loved how we I think you asked some questions. We sort of dug into, like, the reviewer actually matters. There's a very big, because it's like, not just are they human, but also, like, what can you find out about the reviewer? Because that's going to tell you as much as anything else. You may have a reviewer that hated that mentor or that coach, and it could be something like very divisive, like, politically, they could say, like, they're I hated them because they're so far on the right. But then the person but if you happen to be very far on the right, you might love that, or vice versa. Or they may say, well, they always talk about you baseball. I hate baseball, but you're like, no, I would love a mentor that talked about baseball. It's those kinds of things that do make it a very personal kind of an attraction to the coaching style and the method, and the method itself may very well be like teaching could be that if you like somebody that does hands-on stuff, then that the hands-on teacher may be perfect for you. But if you prefer reading it in a book, then if the teacher doesn't give you stuff to read, you're not going to like it. So there's almost reviewing the reviewer that I think you need. And while I love what he's doing, it is sort of the like the open table of mentoring and coaching, but it falls into the same situation. As I think you really need to get a flavor of what the review is so that you can figure out how do you trust it. And this is where we really keep bumping up against these things. One with AI is, how do you categorize stuff in a way so that you can force AI to not fill in the blanks that matter while still reading the things that are the human text and context? And then also, how do you rate things in these kind of situations? This is where we really, I think, are starting to see the processes themselves. Is like, okay, I want to be able to rate and review coaches and mentors. Well, okay, well, it could be thumbs up or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. But this is where we start to realize that just like you go back to the mythical man month and estimating software, we have the same problem in a lot of areas where it's like it's not black and white. It's not so cut and dry. And that's why I found this to be a really good topic to dive into, even though it was a little bit off the beaten path a little bit in some of our prior discussions and where some of the things we've gone with, is that it really does allow us to almost fall down this rabbit hole of there are some areas that AI may be able to help us, but we can't even define the problem enough for us to then be able to hand it off to AI and let it fix it. We have to find a way to really solve that problem or really set the requirements in stone enough for that so that AI can actually help us and start doing the mappings that it needs to.
Yeah, the biggest problem I guess the biggest challenge I see running into is similar to, I forget the speaker we had, but we had that conversation with the gentleman that was building the human site, the human communication site. You kind of need that human validation of who these reviewers are. But in the same token, the piece I never quite got out of the interview was, does his product actually go through and review the coaches or the instructors and actually give you a better understanding of who that person is that's teaching the course to pair you up with the people? This really felt more of like going out and scanning like all hair dryers on Amazon, getting all the reviews for the different hair dryers, and then pairing you with the right hair dryer. In this case, coaches and mentors. But it didn't take it one step further. It didn't give you like the product. It really didn't go into the product review, like this product versus this product versus this product. Here's the differences between the people. That was one piece that I kind of felt was missing from this, where I think that would really have made this product more useful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really good, that's a business idea for somebody right there. Is I think it's not just the reviews, it's the person themselves. And so that would be like, ideally, if you want to have like a good AI solution, would be to actually have transcripts or videos or things like that, or audio of that person, of their classes, of their courses, along with their social media stuff, with their the syllabus for the classes and things like that. So now you can get a more holistic of like, what are they trying to teach, and then how does that work? And this is really fascinating. This is interesting because this goes to a conversation I just had with my wife just the other night about the difference between coaching and consulting and how you tackle these things. And it really falls into that same thing. It's like there's going to be coaches and mentors and teachers. They are doing different things, and they may even, while their course, we'll call it, or their coaching title may be the same, the way they're doing things and the way they're serving their customers may be very different. And so you can't just get it from a label. It just goes back to like AI. What does AI mean? Well, you have AI in your application. It means different things to different people. There are some people who are like, well, AI is brand new. It's a, yes, okay, generative AI is a newer thing, but AI has been around longer than I have, and I've been around a long stinking time. So, it's like those things have this goes back to like the labels matter, or actually the labels don't matter as much as the content underneath them matters. So I think this is a great little, problem to solve. I like, having the conversation. I like having these conversations where we're talking to a founder or a problem solver, and I forget his first name, but the guy at Chirper was the same thing, where we were really talking about like, well, what does it mean to be human? It's not just because I can identify a crosswalk in 5 out of 9 images or something like that. It's like, how do we do that? How do we trust it? These are, I think, questions are going to be much more important as we are putting AI into our systems, as we are trusting AI to talk to our AI, and for those things to have good conversations. And how do we define it so we can figure out what guardrails need to be in place? I think the challenge this week I want to throw out is, I think this is a really good problem for everybody. Just sit down and just spend a few minutes thinking about it. It's like, it's just a good problem solving exercise. And you can do it with AI or however you want to do it, but to have a conversation about it. But what are, like, say 5? We'll just give you like 5. Maybe we'll give you 3 to 5. What are 3 to 5 qualities that matter for a coach or a mentor? Because that's the starting point. Is like, how am I going to define a coach or a mentor? Well, I've got to start with like, what are those qualities? Does it, are they tall? Are they short? Do they have different hair color? Do they have different eye color? Do they have a different tonation in their, and none of those things matter. That's, spoiler alert, those things actually don't matter. But what does? Think about like what made a good teacher or a mentor or coach for you, and what made a bad mentor or coach or teacher, because those are going to start getting you down that. Because thinking about a problem in this way is going to be very critical. This is your problem solving skills that are critical for you becoming a better developer. So that being said, we're going to wrap this one up. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I appreciate you sharing a little bit of your Friday. And as always, go out there and have yourself a great day, a great weekend. And we will talk to you next week.